Hello, hello, hello. My name is Cameron
And it's your girl, JB, and welcome back to another episode of the Black Cinema Experience
podcast.
podcast.
No, I'm so happy to have you all back. We are so excited to bring to you a new movie. It's an awesome movie. It's called Rye Lane. It's directed by a pretty young writer. She's only born in 1989. Her name is Rain Allen Miller. I want to say Ryan, but it's Rain.
Okay.
It's a British movie.
It is a British movie, but it is black as fuck.
It is.
I enjoy this movie so much. It's a comedy rom-com about two 20-something-year-olds that are basically experiencing life, but just happen to have a really good day together. That's how I would kind of sum it up.
Absolutely. It was very simple, and I thought that was something that added to the charm of the movie.
Yeah, 100%. It's not every day that you see a tasteful black love story without there being some traumatic, my mom was a prostitute, my dad was a crackhead, we endured through slavery, or it's civil rights. Like, we're always watching these black stories with all of this trauma. And this movie didn't have that. This movie was just a normal experience that any person of any color could experience.
Absolutely.
They were both going through breakups, and that's basically a way that they kind of bonded throughout the movie, I would say. But it was wonderful to see the black story simplified. We didn't have to deal with the trauma just to eat it. You know what I mean?
I understand what you mean. I mean, I do love a good, like, all my life I had to fight moment,
Yeah.
but it was nice to see something so simple and to
Hmm.
actually focus on the aspect of love. And even though obviously they did have trials because they are going through a breakup, but that's something everybody can relate to. Everybody can
Yeah.
relate to somebody, Miss Sophia and slavery and everything else. But
Facts.
we all can relate to love or a breakup in some way, shape, or form. So
Yeah, exactly.
I really appreciate it about this movie. And I wanted to bring up breakups since we were talking about breakups earlier. And disclaimer, we were talking about this movie before we started talking about talking on the podcast. And it was just funny that we brought up a really, really good point about how when you break up, you can people will change after you break up. Like they change for the better. And so I have a problem with that low key. I feel like, once you break up with somebody, and you feel like you gave your all to somebody, and then all of a sudden, once you're done, they're all automatically doing better. They're doing well. They're like shining, and you're like, okay, why are you doing that now? When I was with you for 15 years and down and out and had you when you were nothing, and now all of a sudden you came up.
I'm not even gonna lie to you. You know what I mean? I just broke up with my boyfriend, and he the whole time we were together. I mean, never once did he get his locks retwisted, but just posted a picture yesterday of a fresh retwist, and I'm like, who are you
It's like,
even?
why would you even do that? Like, why are you doing now?
Exactly. But the thing about it is that people are going to do what they are going to do for the person that they actually want to be with.
Mhm.
So, whatever it is that you're asking for in a relationship, it's not too much if you're actually the person that that person wants to be with. Because people, it's not that they change for somebody else or they become better or more evolved for the next person. They just maybe want the next person a little bit more. So, they're willing to sacrifice a little bit more. But that movie did a great job showing us the complexities of relationships, right? It's like, wow, so you really moved on. You know, his girlfriend left him and didn't get better, and her boyfriend left
After
her
her.
for what he thought was better.
Mhm.
And it very much reflected real life. I think there was a lot of realness in that relationship scene. But yeah.
But I also appreciate it because, like you said, I feel like it showed that aspect of how people will change. Because in the movie, spoiler alert, um, our main character Yaz actually breaks into her ex boyfriend's flat, which is illegal.
Flat.
Was that you have to say flat because
Very London of
it is
you.
a British
I, I'm
movie.
so glad I jumped your arse. I said arse?
ARSE.
ARSE?
No, but she had broke into his flat, aka apartment, and he was doing better, and he was doing things that he wouldn't do with her with his new girl. So that's one thing I felt like I completely like connected with. I was like, "Are you serious? You're gonna do this now?" But I couldn't
Yeah.
do this when we were here together.
Yeah. Yeah, they gonna do it for who they want to do it for. All my ex boyfriends, if I ever asked for anything and they made it seem like it was too much, I mean, I've seen them do it for somebody
Mhm.
after the fact or before the fact, even. So people will do what they want for exactly who they think deserves it. So if they don't think that you deserve it, just move the fuck on. That's it.
Keep going. No, but you also brought up a good point because we were talking about how the main character Dom broke up with his girlfriend Gia, and she cheated on him with his best friend.
Hmm.
But later on in the movie, they're still best friends. He's helping him move out, and you were saying men's relationship with breakups and women's are completely different
They are
because
completely different.
how could he still be friends with his best friend even though he cheated with his girlfriend? It's crazy.
A logical person would agree, but men do that though. Men do
Do we
that.
really?
Yeah, like it's really common for a guy to date a girl and then his best friend to come after that same girl later on down the line, or
Mhm,
for his cousin or his brother to come after his girl.
mhm,
Like it's normal. Men are so territorial. It's
mhm,
almost like when they see a woman with a man that they know, they want her even more.
mhm,
So it's not like unheard of, that this had happened and that they remain friends, because also men don't necessarily think of women in that way. Like, he didn't marry her, right? So
mhm,
he was committed to her. That was his girlfriend. But for men, it's a lot easier for them. I just feel like,
mhm,
looking wise, it may not be actually, but it just seems like men can do that a lot
mhm.
easier. Like, they can date each other's exes and be like, "Oh, it's fine. Yeah, she was a good girl. Good girl for you." It's like, unlike women, we're so possessive, we're so territorial. Like, you could never date an ex and still like remain friends. Like, for in the woman kingdom, but in the men kingdom, you could. It didn't look that unbelievable.
I feel like maybe I'm built different because I don't know. Maybe because I was raised by a single mom. I don't know what it is,
That
but
was his friend from primary
that's
school.
what I'm saying. I would kill you. No, I'm not a murderer, but the,
Yeah.
again, spoiler alert. But they were together. Dom and Gia were together for 6 years, and Dom was a little bit of a pushover. So I
Yeah.
kind of understand that aspect. But then Eric, his best friend, is like
Yeah.
typical jock dummy.
But there was obviously some truth in it too,
Hmm.
because when he asked her, "Why did you do it? Why did you break up? Why did you cheat on me?" She said, "Well, we didn't like each other anymore. We weren't in love anymore." Whatever
Uh-huh.
she said. People know, and when you're not in love with somebody anymore, that situation could feel a lot different if you were in love with somebody. But there had to be some truth to the fact that they fell out of love.
I mean, I
Yeah.
guess, but
In
I feel
six
like,
years,
yeah.
him being his best friend. I mean, he was probably around them all the time.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. But I feel like I still can be friends. But then again, some people forgive and forget. I forgive and keep on remembering.
Yeah,
So,
no. Yeah, I could. I mean, I wouldn't let it happen to me.
so okay, that's what I'm saying.
But
That's what
like,
I'm
but
saying.
do men do that though? Like, yeah, men are okay with some things that they shouldn't be okay with.
I see your point of view. I would say just examining now, like, I can see some people that might do it, but I don't know about 6 years. But like a couple months, maybe even like a year or two,
Yeah.
I definitely see how that can be very viable.
Yeah, it was unforgivable, but it's a different community. They forgive differently.
But that opens up because I love in that scene when Yaz comes to save Dom because I can't believe that Gia and Eric, the
Hmm.
the ex girlfriend and the boyfriend, invited Dom to have lunch with him to like try to explain
Yeah.
what's going on so they don't have any bad air.
Yeah. I think that's like an awful thing. Like, so manipulative. Like, I want you to come to dinner with me and your best friend so I can wipe myself free of guilt
Exactly.
and live my life. And it was just very much so what people actually do in real life. I
Yeah.
just feel so bad. Let me just talk to you. But it's really just so they can kind of milk it. Because you saw she didn't really want him to be happy. She
Exactly.
really wanted to milk the fact, like, oh, look, I'm in a relationship. I'm doing better. And the moment that he had somebody step in for him, it was like, what? Someone cares about you? What? You're fun and interesting? Like,
Exactly.
it was very petty. Very.
But I loved it because it really helped with that like the reverse psychology of being having the girl be the superhero instead of the guy because I
Hmm.
feel like a lot of times in rom-coms it's always the man coming to save the girl. She needs a win, quote unquote.
Yeah.
So I felt it was nice to see in the movie that Yaz did it for Dom. So it was like the
Hmm.
reverse role. Um,
Yeah. That was nice. It was nice. It was nice to see a different version of, something that we see all the time in love
mhm.
stories. Yeah, it's always a man that comes to save the girl, but she came in, I guess, saved him. I don't love that verbiage, but I do.
Well,
I
yeah,
do
not
love what
save, but save
happened.
the situation.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. No, she turned it around. And then he was like really grateful. But my favorite thing about them being so normal, so basic, is just how they looked.
mhm,
Like, I wasn't sitting here watching, some hunky guy get the girl.
Hmm.
It wasn't commercial. It was like seeing a normal guy that you would know or go to school or work with, like actually get a win.
Hmm.
Like actually get a really hot girl who's really sweet and doesn't know her worth yet. You know what I mean? Like, it was a really cute and relatable story, just on the sense that they weren't trying to attract you in with, look how gorgeous and skinny and perfect that this girl
Exactly.
is, and look how hunky this guy is, and oh, they're just so quirky that they happen to be single. Like, they weren't selling us on a dream like that.
Mhm.
They looked very real and normal and believable to me, and I just loved how the movie was like diversified. Like, we had an Asian girlfriend, we had some white
Exactly.
people,
Her
we
her
had
best friend was white. Yeah, that was
yeah,
nice.
we had black people, light skinned people, like we had a little bit of
It's a
everything.
nice little swirl,
Yeah, it
and it had art.
was.
I like that
And
it had a
it,
lot
and
of
it
art.
wasn't checklist swirl. It
Yeah,
was just, hey, we made a movie and the main
natural.
characters happen to be black. And not we made a black movie,
No,
we use black
seriously.
main characters too. It's
Mhm.
completely different when they're actually just making a movie and they just so happen to cast black people, because, like, yeah, it's way better than them being in there trying to pick, oh, we got to do an interracial
Mhm.
couple, we have to have this black person, this white person, and that they're going to be together,
Check,
and
check, check, check,
yeah,
check.
and they're just checking all these things off, and we'll have one black person, but they got to be gay, and we'll have somebody
Mhm.
here to represent the old people, and it's just like there's all these checklists, and that movie just felt very
And
genuine.
very easy.
Yeah.
And I want to clarify, by average, we do mean that David Johnson and Vivian Opara are
Mhm.
actually both fine. They're both
Yeah,
they're,
they're
they're
both
both really
fine.
good, but just getting from the movie that they're presented very, very casually, and I like
Hmm.
that. Especially like the way they meet, because they meet in a unisex stall, which I don't never really like unisex. I feel like it's always awkward. It doesn't
Yeah,
have to be, but I feel like that's just the way we made it. Maybe it's societal. I don't know. But the fact that she
I've been
heard
into
him,
a lot of unisex bathrooms,
I
and
always feel uncomfortable because people look at me weird when I walk out. And I'm just like, I'm just here to wash my hands and do
no,
what
you
I'm.
probably look at them weird.
I feel like it's a mutual weird look. Like,
Yeah.
let's just all wash our hands and leave right now.
Yeah, that's great though. It's how we know that they wash their hands. We could
That's
be right there to see it.
always check to
Yeah.
make sure people are washing their hands.
Yeah, but
Uh,
it did start off with that unisex bathroom, and there's something really important about that scene too. But I'm gonna let you start off. Go
well,
ahead.
well, I feel like it's important that I thought it was funny that she came in to use the restroom and he
Hmm.
was crying. Now,
Yeah.
again, I know some people are going to probably go hotep and like it's the emasculation of a man, but I feel like
Mm.
people don't understand that there are a lot of guys who are really invested in relationships, and sometimes the guy is way more hurt than the girl in the relationship. Sometimes when they
Yeah.
break up, so it was good to see that like this guy was really destroyed by this 6 year relationship they just ended,
Yeah.
and then old girl, yes, he happens to hear him is like, "Are you okay?"
Yeah.
Trying to like comfort him in this situation. So, it was very comedic too, like effortlessly funny.
Effortlessly. Yeah. 100%.
And that's what made it so believable, because I feel like real life actually is low key funny,
Yeah.
but it's not like, I don't know. I feel like it wasn't like overt jokes or trying to make it like this has to be the punchline. Here it is,
Yeah.
ha ha
Yeah,
ha.
that's wonderful. There were no moments like that were
Mhm.
disingenuous. Everything was very genuine. It was very much so how you would actually deal with the situation if it happened to you. Like, you go in your sex bathroom and you hear somebody sobbing and you're like, "Hey, are you good?" But maybe you're not necessarily like wanting to talk to them again, so you don't stick around for them to come out.
Exactly.
But then you see them out there because you see their shoes again, and you're
Yeah.
like, "Oh shit, there goes that person that was crying." And then you ask them again, but he didn't even know that it was her that he had been talking to, not
Exactly.
until like almost halfway through the movie. But the thing about that scene that's important to me is the fact that he's crying. So,
Mhm.
just to dissect it further for me,
Mhm.
it's important, one, to see men showing their emotions, but two, to see black men being emotional.
Yeah.
I think that the world is so used to putting them again with that traditional view of black movies, giving them this hard life and this,
Mhm.
oh, we came from poverty or we grew from concrete type life,
Concrete
that
bros.
the world sees black men as this like iron feature statuesque type fist feet figure that doesn't feel and just is just so cool
Mhm.
though,
Like
like,
a brute.
yeah, yeah, a brute, but just very like masculine and just very like, don't talk to me, I don't answer questions type. And it was wonderful to see representation of my male friends,
Mhm.
my male friends that are passionate, my male friends that talk, They share things, they'll fight for you, they're your friend, they're apprehensive. Like he was just very much so a normal guy, and in every way I loved seeing a normal man win in the movie. A normal black guy. Because again,
Yes.
they put black men in movies and it's for some type of checklist reason.
Yeah.
Got to have a black person, or he's got to be super hunky for the white girl, or he's got to be super hunky in general. We finally got to see just a regular black guy. Like almost, if this was translated into white people films, I mean, we would have like a Drew Barrymore and Adam Sandler. You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
Yeah.
Like you guys are both like pretty in your own lanes, and that's wonderful. But you're normal.
Yeah.
You're not Angelina Jolie.
Oh
You know
yeah,
what I
or Brad
mean?
Pitt.
Or yeah. You're normal. You're giving us every day we see you, we love you. The couple from Walmart. But again, they are fine though. That's not to take away from that, but just saying that it was really great to see a man have emotions in movies. I want to see it more because women want to know that men care.
Yeah.
And we don't know that because men don't express it. And if they were free to express themselves, like, because maybe they saw something that felt like, damn, I would cry like that too if I went through a breakup. Or maybe just seeing it more will help them actually acknowledge these
So
emotions.
you're telling me that expressing my emotions and communicating is something that's very healthy for a
It's
relationship?
very healthy for a relationship. It's
Who would have
unbelievable.
thought?
So
Who would have
good.
thought?
It's so good. No, for real.
But I also like that aspect because it goes into a topic I really wanted to bring up was about finding love because
Mm-hmm.
I know we all have like that fairy tale idea, like, oh, we're gonna meet in a grocery store and I'm gonna drop an apple and we're both gonna reach and grab it at the same time.
Yeah.
Or maybe that's very specific, but maybe it's not
That is
that.
very specific. Do you go to the store chopping apples?
I mean, I mean, it could happen. You never know.
Yeah.
But I felt like the fact that they like really emphasize, well, not emphasize, they, graciously and like very, very subtly showed us how like that spare of the moment, like time where you're not actually looking for love, it can actually fall right in your lap. And
Yeah.
I thought that was like, I thought that was really cute for like I know it's like so like cliche, but I feel like that is something that it does happen sometimes when you're not looking or at your
Yeah.
lowest moment, crying in the bathroom stall.
Yeah.
You could
Well,
possibly
as
find
someone
love.
who's not currently in love, I mean, I can neither say yay or nay to that. Hopefully it does happen like that when you're not looking. I guess I'd have to stop looking to find out. But no, seriously, it was whimsical
Hmm.
in a lot of different ways. And again, you don't see black girls fall in love without giving everything of
Yeah.
themselves in movies. I mean, like, do you just think for a second of a couple movies you have with black lead actresses and
Hmm.
black men actresses, and just think about the backstory. Do you have anything that comes to mind? Any black movies with black artists, like all black actors and stuff, that comes to mind? Just off the top of your
That's not
head.
Tyler Perry.
That's not Tyler Perry. Like, imagine. All right. So you do have Tyler Perry. You got Diary of a Mad
Mhm,
Black Woman. You think of that, and you're like, oh no, that's terrible,
mhm,
right? That's not great because we have to see how much trauma, her getting
mhm,
dragged out of her house and living with her family and all of the things that she experienced there. That's not great. And then you have other movies.
mhm.
Any other good black love stories? Maybe.
That's not toxic. I'm trying to think. I mean, I like Think Like a Man as a
Oh,
rom
Think
com.
Like a Man. This is again
One, not
another.
so much two. One
Yeah.
definitely has something going for it. Two was good. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like there was a lot that they show as far as positive attributes and negative on both sides of men and women.
Yeah, but just off the top of your head, those positive ones, they're so few and far in
Yes,
between. When you think of these black love stories, you think of like Love Jones, where her man cheated on her and she moved and did all
absolutely.
this, and you
Love
think
and
of
basketball.
right.
Two can play at the game. Like these were all coming to my head first, but I said
Okay, that no,
she's not looking
I
for
wanted the
these.
real examples.
Okay,
I wanted
yeah.
the first thing you
Like two.
think
Like
about.
I was thinking about two can play
The
a
first
game.
thing
Yeah.
you think about show
Hmm.
all the black love stories that we grew up loving,
Hmm.
right? Have all of this trauma. They have all of these like horrible little life stories of like we're born in poverty and we gang bang and this cousin goes to jail and there's like
Hmm.
so much just negativity.
Hmm.
In this movie, Rye Lane, it was positive start to finish.
Hmm.
I mean, he was a successful accountant. She was a struggling artist.
Exactly, making costumes.
Yeah, but no one was struggling. They were
Exactly.
both doing what they needed to
Could
do.
pay the bills at least.
Okay.
We're at that level. That's
And it's just good to see black people in a different light. And sometimes it really makes me upset because in America, so much of what we see in our film and TV
Mhm.
has to do with trauma
Mhm.
about being adopted or being kicked out or evicted. Someone was on drugs. There's
Mhm.
all of this negative stuff that we have to see when we're watching a good black love story or a good black story in general in America. And you got this BBC film, this film over here
Exactly.
in London. Did I say BBC? Is that right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's a channel.
Okay.
So it was another one. It was the right one. You right.
Okay. Okay.
You're on the right track.
Okay, good, good. But you know, like it's crazy how over there they can make one without
Mhm.
trauma. You know what I mean? And over here, we're just like we're still struggling to.
Or maybe they had less oppression. I'm joking. I'm joking. No. But I'm like I agree with what you said. Like pain and trauma does have its place,
Mhm.
but it's like you don't want to see it all the time. If I'm going through trauma in real life, if my life is so hard, why do I
Mhm.
want to see that when I go to my movie? You know?
More importantly, I don't want to raise kids growing up thinking that this type of trauma is normal for Black people.
True.
It's really just about me.
Hmm.
I don't want to go in there and the only version of love I can see is love after I've already sacrificed my whole life for this person. Love after they've already gotten locked up or love after, somebody tried to kill them and we escaped.
Hmm.
Like some set it off type love. I'm not interested in that. And I don't want to have kids or raise a family and have them think that that's some type of normal for
Hmm.
somebody somewhere. Like that's not normal. And seeing movies like that with all of that trauma, even when they make it, they're like, "Oh, he escaped to the pursuit of happiness. Oh, he's not
Hmm.
poor anymore." It's like we still have to see that.
Hmm.
Why? Do white people have to see that? Like they have different
Hmm.
samples of movies. They have different experiences, and they can make movies about nothing all the time and just get
All
away
the
with it.
time.
And Black people, all of our movies have to be so much about getting out of the struggle. And it's like,
Exactly.
I'm tired of seeing the struggle. We're not all struggling.
Mhm.
That's not true to all of our experience. So,
Well, exactly. Especially like somebody like me who started in LA but grew up in the suburbs.
mm-hmm.
It's not this. I don't know
Yeah,
some things that a lot of people have experienced. And again, like it has its place, but does it have its place in every aspect of our lives? Like,
right.
no, because we're all so different and we're not a monolith. So
Yeah.
that makes total sense. And that I wanted to ask you about that because since we're talking about the trauma and struggle, like, do healthy relationships have to come from like such a hard breakup? Like, do you have to have the worst breakup ever in order for you to experience true love in your next relationship? Like, can't you end peacefully and be like, it just wasn't for us, and then go on to the next relationship healthy and
Yeah, but that's for people who go to therapy. Yeah, no, I had a really healthy breakup recently. It was very amicable. It was literally the
Mhm.
argument was like you crossed a boundary, and he was like, I understood, I apologize, and you do deserve better. And I said, yeah, you're right,
Mhm.
and that was as amicable as it could be.
Mhm.
And that's like, at the end of the day, you should always break up with someone on a calm note. I think that any breakup that gets toxic and you're yelling and you're fighting and you're like, oh, I can never be your friend again. I think that those people always end up getting back together. They
Mhm.
always end up fucking each other, or there's
Exactly.
no real closure because they didn't leave things in a good
Exactly.
place. But like healthy, healed people, they talk, and your breakup should be amicable if you are like of adult age and you want to actually be with someone forever. You can communicate well enough to be able to break up
Mhm.
and not have an enemy.
Well, I'm so glad you're like so mature because I'm definitely like Jasmine Sullivan, Carrie Underwood, busted
Oh,
windows out
okay.
your car, drove
Yeah.
my keys to the side. It was
Yeah.
like but no. In all seriousness, I haven't been in a relationship, so it really doesn't affect me. I just see what I've seen, from friends,
Yeah.
and other people. But I do feel like you don't have to like set their house on fire like Lisa Left Lopez, like
Yeah.
to prove a point. Like, oh, you overstepped the boundary, so it's going down. Like, I don't feel
No,
like that
real
has to
shit.
happen.
I mean, even my last situation, it's like I don't want to light this house on fire because
Mhm.
one day maybe in the future we'll be better people and we'll
Mhm.
run into each other again. And it will be the right time. So like you don't if you really care about somebody and you really want them to do well in life, you're not gonna have this horrible, harsh,
Mhm.
hateful breakup. You know what I mean? You're gonna wish them the best and hope that maybe in the future you can see part of that.
Mhm.
Not even be a part of it, but just be like, I'm happy you got your dreams. Because if you really love somebody, you're not gonna wish bad on them. You know
Absolutely,
what I mean?
that's not love. That you were
No.
doing something possessive and something
But I've always
selfish.
wanted to fuck up somebody's car. Like,
Don't we all?
and I have friends who've done it.
Same.
Yeah.
I'm talking about key it all the way up,
Yeah.
friends. So don't mess with us. Just so
Okay.
everybody
Yeah.
out there, don't.
It's
It might
it's
not be
not
us,
us, but our
but
friends for sure.
it's somebody that's close to us. We're not snitching. But that brings up a good point too, because at the end, again, I'm so sorry, y'all. It's a spoiler, so you need to see the movie before you fully, or I don't want to spoil it for you, but I'm gonna have to talk about it.
Okay.
Literally, before they got together, it was like a period that they had separated before Dom and Yaz got together, and
Mhm.
they like kind of developed to see if they really liked each other. Yaz kind of saw that she really found out that she really missed him,
Mhm.
and she didn't think she did after they had like,
Yeah.
their little miniature breakup, even though they weren't together,
Yeah.
and then after them, being away for a while. I think it was like what, like a month or two. We don't know the exact time
No,
frame.
yeah, they definitely gave us some visual
Yeah,
images, but we don't
beautiful
know.
visual image, but it
Yeah.
showed. I feel like I got a good glimpse of it. It was some time that passed, but then they
Yeah.
end up coming together, and I thought that was like nice. I like how they kind of put the ball in her court
Yeah.
because like he was getting his stuff together too, and he was still like doing things outside of the box that she had taught him to do, like eat spicy food, like
Mhm.
spicy burritos, and ride on the back of a moped.
He was experiencing life.
But she was
Yeah.
also experiencing things too. Like she actually went for the job that she wanted,
Yeah.
and they both were growing, and then they got together. And I was like,
Yeah.
that's a tear.
Now
That's a
that's how
tear.
you really make a love story right there. You make a real love story by making two characters that like each other
Hmm.
evolve into better people in some way or another, whether it be for each other or just in general. Like that's why we love the notebook so much.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like if it wasn't for
Absolutely.
him building that house and her
Hmm.
coming to see his work of art,
Hmm.
we wouldn't feel the way we feel about that movie. They had to evolve. So the character development in this was excellent.
Mwah.
When you bring up how it was shot, like you mentioned it was shot beautifully, it was shot amazingly.
Yeah, cinematography was impeccable.
Okay.
Like the colors, the outfits that they use,
They
even down
used
to her nail designs.
Yeah, it was fly. And her hair too. But like they use the fisheye lens. So the fisheye lens has a tendency to give you kind of like a panoramic picture type view where you can see the whole picture, but a little bit more,
Hmm.
like maybe 60% of the image. So it's a really cool, interesting way to look at things. So it made a very ordinary walk interesting. They played with
Exactly.
the camera in excellent ways. One of the scenes that I noticed was when they were describing his best friend, him and his best friend, like when he was realizing that, oh no, my best friend stole my girlfriend, right? They
Ultimate
show
betrayal.
they show us like the images of them, and I love this about this movie
Hmm.
about them showing us exactly what the character was really thinking.
Thinking exactly.
Yeah, so they show us this image of them in the bathroom and they're peeing and they're singing and dancing together, and that's like showing you the best friend image, but the camera angle is from the bottom. And
Yes.
usually when you're using an angle up, so you're using the camera's at the bottom, you're facing up towards the ceiling or the roof or the sky,
Mhm.
it's giving you this God feeling. So they usually use it in scary movies to kind of let you know this
Oh.
person's big and bad and look how big they are. And that's the point of that. Well, in this movie, they put the camera down there while these guys are peeing on the wall to kind of show how big and grandiose their friendship is. This isn't just this is my best friend.
Yeah.
This is my everything best friend, my
This is my bro-
primary school, my
my brother.
brother.
Absolutely.
Exactly. So like they did some weird things with the angles to really give us some intimate scenes with the characters. From that scene to Yaz and Dom doing their fake karaoke scene that turned into a real
The best, like
karaoke
real care.
scene.
Yaz
And
and Dom and
the
Yaz.
close ups that they did of each of them by putting them off center.
Hmm.
So you're really getting a picture of like they're in the room and they're looking at each other, but they're not our main focus,
Yes.
right? We're having karaoke. The way they put them off center, but they still make them everything. They still make them shine. They use that beautiful black light on dark skinned
Yes.
people to give us
Yes.
those glows. And then of course, my last favorite final scene of the
Mhm.
two of them is the ending,
Yes.
and they're sharing that kiss, but the camera is zooming around them, which is actually a
And from
technique,
above
and
too.
and from above too, which is a
Mhm.
technique that we saw first in Moonlight.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you remember the fight scenes and the
Hmm.
camera buzzing around them, it draws up this intensity for the
Hmm.
audience. So it was just a really intense scene. The camera's going around them. At some point of them having this deep stare at each other and this laugh, this kiss, all
Hmm.
of this together, you see her background kind of just whiten up almost in an angelic way. Like
Hmm.
it made you feel like, wow, this is a ethereal. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ethereal.
ethereal. Damn, I was really wrong.
It's
This
okay.
is
We're
a
in this together.
ethereal experience where it was just like godly
Hmm.
almost. Did you notice how white the light had gotten in that scene where they're kissing at the very end?
It's all coming back to me. It's funny the way you're describing this makes me want to go watch it again.
Yeah, my
like,
pleasure.
it's
My pleasure.
and I feel like people don't understand like how important visually seeing these different shots and seeing like those different points of view help us engage, and it
Hmm.
gives you you know the Black cinema experience.
Okay.
I'll try to plug it in there for you. No, but it was really nice to see like those scenes, like, and it made me feel like intimate with the characters,
Yeah.
especially the flashback scenes when we're in their thoughts. Like
Yeah.
they did such a good job too, like not making it look cheesy and like
Yeah.
CGI, and it
Yeah.
just looked really good. Like, okay, like I'm really in the thought of
Yeah.
Dahmer. Yeah, so I really did like that too. I love. I mean, I'm not as educated as you when it comes to like the scenes and the and
Please.
the cameras and the special effects and all the good stuff. But I really feel like you explained it so well, and I really
Yeah.
it just brings it all back now.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Except that word, ethereal.
in theory,
I'm gonna get that one for sure. I'm gonna get that one later. That one, I really loved that scene, but I loved everything they did with the camera. They really made us feel like little kids in an arcade watching these two other kids have fun all day. That's what it felt like for me.
it was beautiful.
Yeah.
But so all I want to say is that I really applaud Rain for her. I don't know if this is her first movie. This is the first time I've heard of her, and you
Hmm.
got to experience it at the Sundance Festival. But I feel like this was such a like ambitious work of art to put out, and I
Yeah.
feel like she took a big hit and swung, and I feel like she
And
got a
knocked it
home
out the
run.
park.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm thoroughly impressed. Such a good find. Like
Yeah.
I was not expecting this at all, and I wasn't expecting like so much,
I
especially being
know. I
I'm
laid it on
hardcore.
you.
Exactly, you did. I'm hardcore America, so I love like my American cinema.
Oh my
But like to
gosh.
see like a good like international film,
Yeah.
and it's black still, and so it makes me want to go visit London. I'm gonna have to go see what's going on in
Yeah.
Rye Lane.
Yeah. It was amazing. It was amazing just for its simplicity. It was amazing because it hit all the marks of what a good film is. And
Hmm.
lately I have been really tired of seeing
The
certain
same
films
thing.
that are just bad.
Hmm.
They're bad because they're missing certain
Hmm.
elements, or they're bad because like they lack character development.
Hmm.
I don't want to bring up movies that are black love stories to shit on them.
Hmm.
However, The Photograph, something was missing.
Hmm.
The one, I Really Love You, I can't remember if that's what it's called. I think it has Sophie Kobe or whatever his name is. That movie, it had elements missing, character development was missing. Nola Darling, even as a show, there
Yeah,
was some serious character development that was missing between her boyfriends as well as for her. I
she's got to
mean,
have it.
yeah, she's got to have it. Nola Darling, as I say, that's how I remember it. But yeah, she's got to have it. There was some serious character development missing from that as well. Like we could have really, they built our characters really well in
Hmm.
Rye Lane. We got to see enough backstory to understand, and then we also got to see them both be humble and apologize, and yeah, and they gave us that cheesy bit at the end.
Exactly.
Like you gotta, if you could put a character running in the name of love,
Abs-
you made a love movie.
Absolutely.
It's a rom com for sure. It won.
Well, if you haven't seen it yet, it is on Hulu. So please go check it out. Again, the director is Rain Allen Miller. She's a young black woman.
Oh
So please support and go check it out.
yeah. Thanks, guys, for listening to another episode of the
The
Black
Black
Cinema
Cinema Experience
Experience
podcast.
podcast.